Okay. So if you are preparing for Angular developer, what are the things they ask? First of all, what technologies we have to cover in Angular development interview? What technologies we have to cover? Hmm. Guys, what technologies we have to cover?
HTML,
HTML,
CSS,
CSS,
HTML,
JavaScript,
JavaScript,
CSS,
TypeScript,
and
JavaScript,
Angular.
Angular. Yeah.
TypeScript, Angular. That's it.
And
Agile,
In
Agile.
Angular, RxJS,
Yeah, again an
RxJS,
Angular plus
NGRX.
RxJS plus NGRX, everything comes into Angular.
JRX.
So HTML,
Actually,
CSS, JavaScript, TypeScript, Agile. Apart from this,
mostly
Redux,
they asking for 9 plus,
hmm,
somewhat of project initiation, like the
yeah,
architect
no
and the
project.
system basic.
See, project explanation either doesn't matter if you are preparing for 2 plus, 3 plus, 9 plus, everyone has to explain the project also, right? Project also. Current and previous. Apart from this, anything,
Handling of the team, how
right? If you
it's
are going for more than 6 plus, so they will check if you have a team handling experience also. Okay. Again, if you are going for 6 plus, they will see, are you aware about any cloud, either AWS or Azure, anything,
CI/CD.
CI/CD2. Again, that Docker also. Again, this like team handling, they might look properly, but these things they will just ask you, like, are you comfortable or are you having the knowledge or not? If whatever the information you can give, that will be enough. Let's say they ask you like, are you comfortable with any cloud, and you said no, I don't have that much experience, but I'm aware about AWS or Azure. Like, again, you can say like in AWS we have to create S3, what is that, what instance we create in a AWS?
EC2.
EC2, sorry, yeah, EC2 instance. For file handling we have, again, see, I'm getting forgetting,
And looking for the S3.
S3 bucket, right? In Azure we
Yes.
have blobs for that. So basic terminologies, at least if you explain now, that is also enough. Because obviously now for Angular developer, they can't be asked, they can't go deep in AWS or Azure, right? They just want to see the confidence you are having or not. Okay. Then CI/CD pipeline, they again won't ask you like how do you create a pipeline and how do you do the integration, but at least what is a YML file, when you actually run the build, what happens behind the scene. Like there are set of commands like npm install, ng test, again some configuration is there, then we build the file, then we have some configuration of our that, what is that file, Art, artifact, no, what's that file where we change everything related to environment. Let's say you have a pipeline and you want to deploy that pipeline for a different manifest. Anyone have heard manifest? Manifest file is there where we change our SIT, development, QA, different environment, right? Again, Docker. So these things are like just good to know, right? Not, you don't have to go in very deep, but basic info you should have. Again, just for 6 plus years of experience, okay? It's not required for everyone. Agile also they will ask like, what do we do in Agile? Like sprint, right? Sprint review, sprint planning, right? Like iterations. Iteration, not everyone will ask you, but backlog. What's that word? Tech debt,
Retrospective.
retrospective. So these terms they will be asking you. Again, they won't ask you like what happens in sprint review, what happens in sprint planning, what happens in sprint backlog. Like whenever they say, are you sorry? Please be on mute if you are not talking. Okay, so they will ask you like what, like in your company, in your current role, are you following any agile software development methodology? So you can say agile, and you have to only explain like in current company we have 2 weeks of sprint. We do the sprint review, sprint planning, backlog, and sprint retrospective meeting. Everything we have. What are the sprint? These are all called as a sprint ceremonies. Okay. So you just have to explain it. They are not going to ask you. But if you upfrontly explain them, like these are the things we do, then that's okay. He will move on to the next question. Right. But this will actually, they will ask the question, and this is like just overall this is mostly you have to explain. They are not going to ask you, they will just ask you, are you aware about the AWS, are you aware about the CI/CD, are you aware about the Docker, right? So this thing they will just ask, and you have to explain whatever you know. Okay. Because see, whenever you are in the interview, you cannot say I don't have any idea or I don't know. Something you should have. Means I'm just talking this for a 6+. Okay. If you are having 2 to 3 years, it is not expected that you should know everything. But whenever you are having the experience of 6+, obviously not now, but in some days you are going to be a team lead or you have to handle a small team. So they look a candidate who are at least have the knowledge of all these things, right? So whenever they ask the question, make sure like upfrontly you say whatever you know. Otherwise, there will be question. So if you want to avoid those questions, you say whatever you know. Okay. Now, so normally our interview TypeScript only 10% companies will ask you TypeScript question. So you don't have to actually prepare for TypeScript. Okay. Let's say in my recent change, I have, or even before that also, I have never faced the question for the TypeScript. Just while this current change, I have two companies only I have asked like that unknown data type, like we discussed, just like any we have unknown. So I was not aware of that unknown data type also. In the interview, I got to know that because we use very limited thing from the TypeScript. So for an Angular developer, no one will focus on the TypeScript because we have so many things to discuss on Angular only and JavaScript only. HTML and CSS. Now, just to categorize, let's open the Excel. Let's say you are having experience between 2 years to 4 years. Okay. And if you have having experience between 4 years to 7 years or even 8+ years also. Okay. When you are applying for 2 to 4 years of experience, your question will be like, what is kind of question? What is directive? What is pipe? Right? What is routing? How Angular works? What is the use of package.json? This kind of question will be there. Okay. But if you are applying for more than 4 to 7 or 8 years or even 9 years of experience also, you won't be able to find the what is question. Now it will be totally vice versa. They will ask you the same question, but the way of asking the question will be different. Getting it? So let's say someone asks for 2 to 5 years, like what is directive? Okay. Same. Be on mute, na yaar. Ramesh, be on mute. Okay, let's say for 2 to 4 years of experience, they have asked what is directive. So you will explain like directive adds some behavior or some behavior or improve the existing behavior of your HTML element. Then you will say we have structural directive, we have attribute directive, custom directive also create. Also we can create, and component is also kind of a directive. These are the information you will tell. But when it comes to 4 to 7 years, he will say, have you created any custom directive? What we saw in the morning. So they won't ask you what is directive. They will ask you the hard question, that is, have you created any custom directive? Got it? Understood? So like this question will differ. See, in Angular, how many topics we have majorly? If we say the basic topic, how many topics are there? Roughly basic only. I'm not talking about advanced. How many basic topics are there?
8 to 7.
So like even binding.
See, let's say routing, component, pipe,
Binding.
template, yeah. Then reactive, data binding, directive, services. That's it.
Models.
What models? Class and
Like we can
interface,
actually custom projection.
PK model.
class and
State
okay, G model,
management.
app module. You are saying module. No, state management is not the basic, no. These are the basic thing only. Yes or no? By let's say we learn routing, we understand component, we understand pipe, we okay API call also integration. Okay, let's say a developer is there or some person is there who have just learned this topic: routing, component, pipe, template form, reactive form, data binding, directive, services, module, and API call integration. With this topic, will he be able to complete a basic project?
Yes.
He
Yes, we
doesn't
can do that.
he doesn't understand view child, he doesn't understand interceptor, but all these are basic topic. If he knows this topic, he can complete the project. Yes,
Yeah.
right? So, and let's say if we talk about advanced concept also, again, let's say advanced 10 to 12 or 15, max 20 advanced concepts are there. So overall around 30 topics are there, including basic plus advanced, correct?
Yes.
So questions are same, even if you are appearing for a 2 plus or even if you are appearing for the 9 plus, because we have limited topic. When we talk about Java or .NET now, there are so many things to ask. They will start from oops, solid principle, design pattern, oops, C sharp, then .NET, API, microservices, database, again AWS, Azure. So many things are there when anyone is applying for the backend. But when we talk about either React or Angular, either again in React also so many things are there. Because in React we have two types of component: class based and function based component. Class based component have different lifecycle event, functional component have something different. So again so many things are there. But when we talk about Angular, Angular is a framework. There are certain limited way of doing things over here. So we have limited topics. So questions are also limited only. Just according to the interview, they will ask the question in different ways. Okay. Again, it is not required that how you created a custom directive question will be asked just for 4 to 8 years. Here also, for 2 to 4 years also, they might ask you, how do you create a custom directive? Now the difference will be with 2 to 4 years. They will just ask you like, how do you create a custom directive? So you will say the command. Okay. And what things you need, how what things we use in let's say again one more step he will go like what normally we use in custom directive. So we have to say element ref and host listener. That's it, he will stop over there. But when you are having this much of experience, he will ask you, have you created any custom directive in your project? So you don't have to say highlight directive. Is highlight directive a good example of custom directive? Yes or no?
No.
Whatever the directive we have seen today in the morning, is it a good example for directive to explain in the interview?
No, sir.
No,
Basic.
because same thing we can do with CSS also. Why to create a directive, na? Right? So if you are having this much of experience now, make sure you have a proper example of directive to explain in the interview. They don't want to see your confidence like have you created it or not. They will ask you to actually explain what type of directive you have created till now, custom one. Got it? Routing. So for 2 to 4 years, they will ask like, what is routing? Okay. So you need to give an answer like, by using routing, we can achieve multiple page-based navigation in the Angular. As Angular is a single page application. To achieve multiple page-based navigation, we use the routing. Right? Again, you have to explain like we can create routes array. Again, route is an object where we have path component. Right? This is the answer you have to give. What is routing? But in 4 to 9 years, they will ask you, what can you tell us about routing? So now you cannot just tell like Angular is a single page application, by using routing we can do that. So there are so many things. How do you do the navigation with query parameter? Default route, wildcard route, right? What is the use of activated route? How do you read the query parameter data? Getting it? How do you store the data into route also by using that data property? S- One step ahead, they will be expecting the answer from you. Getting it? Now, an Angular 18, like in default route, previously we can only pass the route name, but now we can pass a function also. That's the new thing we have got. So whatever extra thing you can do, again with reactive form, they normally know in 2 to 4 years they will ask you the difference between template versus reactive. This is very famous question for 2 to 4 years. What is the difference between template form and the reactive form? But in case of this experience, they will ask you how to create dynamic form. Let's again, they will elaborate. Let's say I have JSON of form data, means input type, required true or not, min length, max length. I have a JSON like that. And by using that JSON data, how I create my dynamic form. So these are the type of question they will ask you. Getting it? Again, if we talk about service, for this, what is service? What you can do with service? But here, apart from normal API call, what else you can do with the service? Right? Or he will ask you, like, let's say I have to store the data in the service. How can I read that data? And if I change that data, will I be able to read that data in another component as it change from another component? Right? So like this, questions will differ. Questions will be same, but just the way of asking and the with year of experience, you have to answer the same question with more confidence. Right? Let's say you have a candidate who is having 2 to 4 years. What is directive? If he say, he will just provide the very basic info he has. But if same question got asked to the 4 years to 8 years or 7 years, you have to be more confident while answering the question. You have to explain the topic with your example which you have created or something. Right? So questions are fixed in Angular, but the way how you are answering it with practical example or the confidence you are explaining, that will make you apart from the other candidate. Right? So now whatever, that doesn't matter if you are applying for this or this. If you have completed the project properly and if you have done the work, whatever the question you are telling, it will be with the proper confidence. But if you have just completed my course or even just the tutorial, that confidence won't reflect in your answer. Right? So doesn't matter like if you have attended all the session properly, you have done the task. Project is the important key. Okay. If I ask anyone like what is routing, everyone will be able to explain it. But if I again go on asking like how do you do the query parameter, because query parameter route with parameter, that is one time or two time thing we once or twice we do. So you won't be that much compatible while answering that. Basic you will be able to answer, right? So try to complete at least 2 projects. First project, whatever we are doing, and after that second project, you only have to do. I will be explaining that. Again, if you want to do the third project also, I'm ready, but again, it's your will also. You have to do it or not. Okay. So got the scenario, how they ask the question.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, so this is about Angular and how they ask the question. HTML, they for 2 to 4 years. Okay. 2 to 4 years only they will care about the HTML for 2 to 4 years, 4 years of experience. CSS also only 2 to 4 years experience only they will only care. Okay. But sometimes happen कि after that you have let's say 6 to 7 or 8 also or even 9 also, they might ask 1 or 2 or 3 question, max 3 question they might ask in HTML. Again, like accessibility, semantic or non-semantic element, right? Or again, 10% chance is there they might ask you HTML question for 6 to 7 years of experience. Otherwise they won't waste time on the obviously na. If you have 7 years, 8 years of experience and 9 years of experience into web development, if someone is asking you HTML question, he will be full. Correct?
Yeah, it's mostly
Because
they asking for RESTful site only. Yeah.
right? So
How
semantic
to
element or
navigate.
sometime they ask, but normally they won't ask that also. So don't waste your time preparing for HTML questions. Okay. Then CSS also same thing. But in CSS, let's say here 10% chances are there that HTML question will be asked. Here we can say 15% chances are there. So in CSS again, that display position, box model, that on a HTML element, let's say we have a class, then we have ID selector, and then we have tag selector, so which gets added, that specificity of the CSS, something like that. So some question they might ask, so that what do we say, Z index, something. Okay. Again, it's not guaranteed for everyone. Like they will ask you CSS question. In my last switch, when I was having experience of 5+, so everyone was asking this question. Okay. At least semantic and HTML, that display position, static and everything, relative and everything. Box model was a common question. Okay. Clear now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Again, for
So
2 to 4 years or also, you don't have to prepare that much. Very basic question you need to know. Okay. Pseudo classes in CSS, positions, box model, that flex and grid, difference between flex and grid, they will ask. Okay. Yeah. Someone was asking. Go ahead.
do we need, yes, sir. So do we need also knowledge about that CSS framework like Tailwind or
Yeah,
Bootstrap or both?
SCSS or Tailwind. See, again, they sometimes see, because CSS is the basic. Now there is Tailwind. Again, Bootstrap is there. Only two frameworks are there, correct? Mostly.
So sometimes they asking Prime
Yes,
MG for Angular. They
PrimeNG they
asking
might
Prime.
ask Flex.
Yeah,
In PrimeNG they might
yeah.
ask Flex. Because what happens, some projects they will use, if they are using the PrimeNG, na, in PrimeNG you have a grid using that Flex. So they will consider like, why to use Bootstrap if you are using PrimeNG. Now tell me, PrimeNG and Bootstrap, does it have anything common? Are they alternative of one another? Bootstrap and PrimeNG, are they alternative?
Yes, I think so.
No. How come? And Angular and
There's some
Material?
syntax here different, right?
No,
different.
no, 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 no. You're not getting. Angular and Material, are they alternative?
Yes,
You understand? Angular or Material? Sorry, not Angular. PrimeNG or
Hmm.
Material. Either you will use PrimeNG or you will use Material, correct?
Yes, yeah,
Because both are libraries for Angular.
yes.
Now, Bootstrap. What is Bootstrap? It's a
So
CSS
good.
framework, na?
Yes,
CSS
yes,
framework.
yes.
So, is it alternative to your
No,
PrimeNG? Right? So, that was
no.
my question. But some project decide because PrimeNG has their own flex grid also, na? So why to again use the Bootstrap? But Bootstrap is something else. PrimeNG just have the flex, but again Bootstrap there are panel, right? Alert box. There are so many things in Bootstrap also, right? Okay. So mostly
Yeah,
clear now. HTML and CSS for 2 to 4 years. They will ask proper question on HTML CSS also. Okay. Then everyone has to face JavaScript question. Doesn't matter your experience. Either 2 year, 4 year, or even 9 year. Questions are fixed in JavaScript. Okay. Now our portal. Okay. So first two you don't have to worry. Normally they will start with hosting. Let's write it also. Okay. 2 to 4 years and 4 to 9 years. Okay. So hosting, closure, prototype. Again, what is question only? Okay. ES6 features, local storage versus session storage. Some kind of question will be there. Then that function related some question like what is higher order, first class, callback, anonymous function, all that. What else is there? Yeah, some array method they might ask. Like filter, find. Okay. And obviously some snippets. No one is No one can get away without the snippets, some JS snippets. Okay. So these are the questions they might ask in JavaScript. What is hosting? What is closure? What is prototype? What are the ES6 feature we have? Difference between local storage and session storage. Again, like in function, callback function, right? Promise sometimes they might ask. Okay. Array method like find, filter, map, reduce, find, filter, map, reduce. These questions they might ask. And some JS snippet. Clear? Okay. But when it comes to this, these questions are there, but some more questions will be there. Like how JS actually works. JS works. What is event loop? Again, it's part of the JS works only. Stack, macro queue, micro and macro queue. Okay. Promise, not just basic one. Race, all, settled, like that. Okay. Then arrow function and normal function.
Assi-
How does this behaves? What is Windows object? Okay. Again in function we have currying, generator function. These questions they will ask. Then shadow copy, dip copy.
So then they're asking async await. Most of
Yeah,
times they're
async await
asking.
also. Async await. What do we get with async await? Right? Basically async await will return the promise object, so we can use the dot then callback and the promise difference. Okay. Understood? So all those questions are over here. This is for 6 plus, means like whatever we discussed for 2 plus here. This is also over here, but some extra things are also over here. Class for 2 to 4 year, no one will ask class, but here they might ask class, inheritance. Okay, clear?
Actually, sometimes they asking for EX24 also. Okay, recently they
But
asking
no,
EX24.
not everyone, not every company, because
Uh,
major things we got it in ES6 only. Now after ES6, now
because,
if you check the what are the releases
okay.
we have now, very small things we have.
hmm
Again, those are not
So
actually we
actually
use
today I
every
attended
day.
some interview.
Hmm.
They given some array of object, right?
Hmm.
So based on city, I have to group the
Group by,
city
yeah, group by we
object.
got.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I. That
Uh,
time I couldn't experience over there.
Group by we have got. I
Yes.
think
Yeah.
I also don't know which version we got, but group by we have got. Previously, it was
Yes.
not there
25.
in
I think so.
ES6,
Yeah.
right? But we don't have so many major things because in ES6 there were
Yes.
so many. Class also we got it over here. Arrow function, let constant we got it over here.
Mhm.
So everything was over here, and still industries are stuck with that only because after ES6 like 7, 8, 24 or 24 is the latest one, na?
Mhm. Yes.
So many things might be there, but again, we work with Angular. We are not going to use those things in Angular, right?
Yeah.
So that's why just to filter out. And first of all, we work with Angular. We don't use JavaScript that much. So why they ask this question then? If we are not going to use,
Yes.
just to filter out the good candidate, right?
Mhm. Yes.
Right. So that's why they are not that much worried of whatever the new things we have got. Okay, clear everyone? So whenever our Angular interviews will start, it will start from JavaScript only because that will degrade our what do we say confidence. Just to break down the candidate, they will always start from the JavaScript. My first question always will be prototype whenever I give ask the interview, because if I ask now what is prototype, candidate will be half dead over there because most of the even I was also like the same. If the first question is what is prototype, right? Normally everyone will expect hosting closure, right? So every interviewer has some base set of his question. Okay. But if you stick to your basic, let it be anything. you can answer in properly. Because
So
again,
can you explain
JavaScript
for
also.
this time what is prototype? How to create a custom prototype for that? Can you give
Yeah,
me the
array.
answer about
Let's
that?
say we have an array, right? An array we have filter, find, map, reduce. So many methods are there. Let's say you
Yeah.
have to create your own method which will work on array. Let's say from array you want to get the first element. Is there any method to get the first element or the last element or the second last element? Is there any
Mm,
directly method available?
no, only inbuilt.
Right? So by using prototype we can create that.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So on the array prototype, you are adding your own method. So whenever you use array dot, so your method will come over there. Looking like it is
Okay.
that method exists in the array, but it is created by you. That is nothing but
Okay.
prototypal inheritance. Adding your own method into prototype. Okay. Just like
Yeah.
with
Got it.
string, number, your own method you can create. They will obviously ask that, but only for 4 to 9 years, not to 2 to 4 years. That also it is included over here. Where it will be included prototype.
So actually, sometimes they asking for regression function. Most of the
Yeah,
functionalities.
recursive is
Okay.
also very
Yeah, that's
basic one.
also they ask. Yes.
Very
Yeah.
basic for 4 to 9 years.
Mhm.
They won't ask you
Yes.
directly recursive function. They will provide a problem statement.
They give you
They will
some
ask
task,
you
then we have to implement. Yeah.
right. So the
Yes.
expectation is using recursive. We can do that without recursive also.
Yeah.
But the expectation is that flat array, that nested array, and we have to
Mm.
get the flatten array. So by using recursive function only, that's the best way.
Yes.
Okay, like that. See, this is that array dot proto array get last element. So let's say you have an array, then this function will appear over there. Okay, like this. Clear all? So now how we are going to prepare? Like again, that's why I asked the first question. If you are really going to start preparing, or if you are already giving, start with the first thing. Like from the first page, start it. Not sure like everyone, like those who are having 2 to 4 years, everything you don't have to remember, but at least have a go through behind the scene. Like whenever our JavaScript code get executed on the browser, what happens in the background, right? So just have a go through. But if you are having four greater than four, so you have to learn all this properly. Garbage collection. How does garbage collection work in JavaScript also? Okay. So everything you have to go. Stack, heap. What does stack means? Where does when you create a variable, primitive data type goes onto the stack and non-primitive goes onto the heap. Why it go down to the heap? For 4 to greater than 4 years of experience, they might ask you this also. Okay. So then how JavaScript work, global execution context, phases of execution, call stack event loop. Okay. Lexical scope. These are the questions you have. Then you can go with hosting, closure. This question everyone has to go. But if your experience is four greater than four, all these two things you have to do it properly also. Okay. Hosting, closure. Then we have function, various type of function, anonymous function which doesn't have a name function. Now it is anonymous function, it gets stored into a variable. Pure function, a function which doesn't use any outside state. See, we are not using any outside variable. That is a pure function. First class function, higher order function, callback function, self-executing function. If a function is like this, it will immediate invocally, automatically, just like a constructor. We don't have to call this function. Okay. Call apply bind. What is call apply bind on the function? Function currying. See, function inside a function and which is returning. When we call, we pass like this. First parameter, then second parameter. If you have three function inside that, 2, 3, 4. So this 2 will go over here, 3 will go over here, and 4 will go over here, like that. Generator function, a function which can pause. We can pause the execution of this function as well. Okay. Class. For 2 to 4 years, you don't have to understand class. It's okay if you just know how you create a class, that's it. Okay. But for greater than 4, you have to understand. Promise, again for 4 to 9 years, basic async await if you can ignore. Promise, you have to know like what is promise, how means How you do that same thing in the by using observable. Same thing we used to do in JavaScript by using promise. There we you do the there in Angular we do the subscribe. Here it is dot then. Okay. But for more than 4 year, everything you have to do from over here, whatever it is over here. Okay. ES6 feature. Everyone has to do it. Var let const. What's the difference? Constant, right? Arrow function, template literal, spread operator, rest operator, shallow copy, deep copy, object destructuring, array destructuring, generator function. This got repeated. Object and array, object method, object dot keys, object dot values, object dot entries. Again, you can create object like this also by using defined properties. Getter setter. This is only for more than 4 plus. Object dot create method. Freeze, seal, prevent extension. Only 4 plus. Okay. Then some array methods will be there. Array methods I have not written. Okay. Then famous program. So once your, oh my God, recording will start. Let me share another meeting. Join again. Okay. Now, so what we mentioned over here.
हेलो
सर साउंड
Sir,
नहीं आ
your
रहा है।
voice, sir, your
एक
voice
मिनट.
is not audible.
Now coming
Not
proper?
audible. Yes, sir.
Okay. So after completing the basic interview question of JavaScript, they will ask you some programs to write. Fibonacci series, remove duplicate from the array, reverse a string, right? Get count of duplicate element from your array, get large number from the array. You have some array like that. They will ask you to get the largest element. Sometimes they will ask you to remove the zero or remove the one, something like that. They will ask you to check if string is palindrome, vice versa is same or not. Okay, first non-repeating character. These are again hardcore for more than 4 plus. Okay. Then
Yeah,
factorial of a
sometimes they
number.
asking for
Hmm.
if I have the 4 plus, they asking some console output, right?
Yeah, that I will come to that. JS
So
snippets.
that time I got more difficult to
Yeah,
overcome that.
that those are very tricky, right?
Yeah.
So unless you have seen something like that, every time you will get confused because see,
Yes.
before 2 months I have done the preparation. If you ask me randomly now, I won't be able to answer because
Yes.
you have to go through that all every day whenever you are in that phase. Then only you will be able to answer because sometimes we get confused even though we know all the basic thing. There is a
Yeah.
high chance that we might get confused. Okay.
Yes.
Then longest word in a string. Let's say you have a string like that. They will ask you to get the longest string. Okay. Then find missing number. Let's say you have an array and they will ask you to find the missing number, like 3 is missing over here. Okay. Object, some questions will be like this. You have an array like this. Now from that array, see, you have name property, John, skill. Now they will ask you to create the refactor this. What employees you have the JS skill? So JS will have John is also having, Doe is also having, Dennis is also having. Just a minute. Okay. So this will be their program means array and they will ask you the output. So I have created multiple various like this because some of these are the recent one I got asked. Last one you can see these are the list I have got asked recently. But remainings are very famous one. Fibonacci, remove duplicate from the array, reverse a string and factorial. These four are very Fibonacci is the most famous one. Or remove duplicate is also most famous. Every second interview you are supposed to get this question. Remove duplicate. So multiple ways are there. And again in this question, why I'm saying like this question is 80% chances is there they will ask you. But someone might ask you to do it with the filter. Someone will ask you to do it, write it with the for loop. Someone will ask you to use some basic method we have, means new set. Got it? Someone will ask you to remove the duplicate from array of object also, like that. So variations are there. So all the possible ways to do this are provided over here. Okay. Understanding?
Yeah, but for inbuilt things we have to implement, right? If we remove duplicate,
Inbuilt.
we can use the new set. Okay. If they asking for the without inbuilt, how
Yeah,
can we do that?
obviously.
There is.
But I said na, ki sometimes they will ask you, let's say if you answer like by using filter or by using for loop. Next question will be, is there is there something default also? Right?
Okay.
Because if you have niche set, why you will write this code?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking some panel also, but they
Sometimes they
asking
might
for
ask
a.
anything.
Mhm.
So these are the all possible ways how you can remove the duplicate. Again, there might be something, but normally they will ask you to do by the filter or by using the for loop also. They want to check like, are you good with the for loop or not? Right?
Yeah. Yes.
So this type of question they will ask you. Okay. So now how we are going to do the preparation? Every day you have to. So again, that's again come to the first question, like, are you really preparing? Then only you are going to do it. I also know and you also know. Because you are also working, it's not possible to go through and actually prepare for this. So those who are really preparing or going to appear for the interview, make sure like every day you are completing at least 1 page or 2 page. If it's because these two are basic, related only. So you can work on this and then you have to tell me like out of this, which things is not clear, then we will discuss on that. Or if you get something like which is not mentioned over here, then I will add that question also and we will discuss it also. Like this, we will do the interview preparation. Clear? Because even if I go and explain everything now, if you are not preparing, you will just learn, you will just understand for this now. But let's say after 6 months, you are going to do the introduction. Again, you have to do an all this thing because we don't remember all this thing. See, this is the website I have created for this time. And the previous was, now I have integrated over here, the previous one. These are my last time preparation. This is my last time preparation when for 4 to 5 years. This is my question which I have prepared for last time. Okay. So there is a change when I was preparing for 5 plus. So questions are very basic. What is? Okay. But now you can see in Angular and JavaScript, so many things are there. So again, I can say like those who are having 2 to 4 years of experience, if you just refer this also basic question, here is a language drop down and then subtopic will come over here. This is also enough. You don't have to, you don't have to go through this. Just greater than 4 plus years, you can go over here. But whatever I am explaining over here, a very basic level examples are over here. Okay, some UI is breaking. I need to remove some links from over here. Okay, so those are having 2 to 3 years or 4 years. This is enough for you. Everything is over here. What you can, what they will ask you for 2 to 4 years. But beyond that, but anyway, if you prepare from this also, now like language is little bit deep over here, but here it is very limited. See, if I say you JavaScript and if I say hosting, okay. So see, the definition I have prepared. It is a way by which we can use variable and function before initializing it. That's the definition of hosting. Okay. Now, if I show you the definition from over here, hosting is a JavaScript behavior where variable and function declarations are moved to the top of their scope. Again, the same thing. But as I said, na, ki based on the interview or the experience you are giving, your answer should change. So those who are having 2 to 4 years of experience, this is the best answer. And it is very relatable also. You can clearly understand also. It is a way by which we can use variable and function before initializing it. See, var x we have declared over here, but before declaring variable also we can use it. Obviously, it will have the undefined value. Again, that thing we have provided over here. Variable which are declared with let and constant doesn't support. Only variable which are declared with var support. Okay. So very basic definitions are over here. So those who are having 2 to 4 year, I will say just go through this, not this, because language here is little bit difficult and very deep. Okay, but here it is very overview. What is question? Very need to know answer is here. Okay, understood? But those who are having 4 to 9, make sure you prepare from this. Okay. Got the idea?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So those who are actually preparing, make sure you are preparing. Like for tomorrow, we will say JavaScript in means uh, the how JavaScript work. These 2 pages you can go through, prepare it properly, go through it. What are the theory we have? And if you have any question, again tomorrow we will discuss. Okay. Like this, we will do the interview preparation. And those who are actually giving the interview, let me know once you are done with the preparation. We will do the mock interview also. Fine.
Yeah.
Clear all? And parallelly, we will start our .NET thing also. So first, we will every day, like in the evening, we will first see some of the .NET thing. Then in the remaining time, we will see the JavaScript. And again in the morning, we will have our regular Angular project. Fine. It will be like so many
So
things
as a
happening now.
.NET, you can go with any API creation language.
Yeah, only API creation we are going to focus, not everything.
Because today morning I got some question from panel
Hmm.
how to get the API from .NET like that.
Yeah. So just that is the only focus of our .NET also. Only API
Yes, sure.
development we are going to focus because I cannot cover everything from the .NET. So many things are there. Okay,
Yes, sure. Thanks.
fine. Let's connect tomorrow morning. Anyone having quick question?
How is the market right now?
See, Purushri, don't change right now for let's say current month and next month because we are still let's say appraisals. So in some companies appraisal ended in May, right? So June and July again it's after the appraisal. Like so many people have dropped the paper, so many people are actually looking. So in next month at least you can start preparing. But currently at least calls are coming, but only if you are having notice period of max 1 month, then only you are getting the call. Though
So
also
August and September will be good
August
time.
and September little bit good. I won't say very good, but at least compared to June, July, it will be little bit good. Okay. But again, in the Naukri, you have to play like if, even though your notice period is three months, you have to go with 1 month. Then only you are supposed to get the call. Okay. Okay, fine then. Let's connect tomorrow morning. Bye all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.